Hello everyone and welcome to the Gamers Hearth podcast. This is a very special episode because I had the pleasure of doing our very first interview for the podcast. I got to chat with Gale, aka GamerGirlGale, who is an outstanding cozy game content creator and streamer. We had an amazing conversation about the cozy game community on Instagram and TikTok. We also talked about the cozy game genre and where we think the definition of a cozy game is moving, headed forward. Plus, we got to chat about our mental health and how being a content creator and a cozy gamer affects those things. It was incredible. So many nuggets of wisdom, so much insight from Gale. She was absolutely amazing to talk to. You are going to love this one. Enjoy! Are you ready to start?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's go. Gale, thank you so much for coming on the pod today. It's going to be so fun to talk to you about TikTok, games, mental health, and everything in between. But to start, do you want to tell us a little bit about you and the games that you like and your content?
First of all, thanks for having me, Leigh. I'm super excited for this podcast. And just hello to everybody that's listening right now. I'm Gale, and I'm a cozy gaming content creator. I've been making content since 2021. But before that, I was working in the gaming industry. I did social media and PR for almost 2 years. And then I quit my job last May to pursue this full time. I'm originally from the Philippines. I moved to the Netherlands back in 2017 to study, and now I'm staying for love. I'm a mother of 2 cats. Yes, I have. I live with my Dutch boyfriend. We have 2 Siberian cats. When I'm not gaming, I'm reading books and I'm watching reality TV shows like Love is Blind and 90 Day Fiancé.
All right, this is a Love is Blind podcast now. So yeah, we'll chat for sure, because oh my goodness. I didn't know that you worked in games previously. That's really interesting. Was it like a large studio or a small studio?
The first one was small. It was an indie publishing company. I worked there for a year. It was my entryway to the gaming industry. I did social media and PR. After that, I quit and I worked from home and joined Crytek. It made Crisis, and I worked there for 8 months, and then I decided to quit and do this full time. Cause yeah, it was a very scary step, but it was at least better for me at that time because I feel like I'm not mentally made for a 9 to 5. I have such bad focus, and I do really well when it comes to like creating content and just doing some things out of passion. So that's why I had to quit, even though like quitting last year didn't mean that I was making so much money out of creating content. I did make money, but it's just I just decided it was better for my mental health to just also have a slow lifestyle, doing what I do and doing what I love, I mean. So that's why here we are creating content for cozy games.
That's so interesting to me. Like I'm smiling because we have such a similar trajectory, and I didn't even realize it because I also I was a teacher before, and then I started working in games, and I worked for an indie studio doing community management, which is it was like marketing adjacent for a year. Yes, yeah.
What a dream.
It was amazing. It was so lovely. But similarly to you, I have always felt that I'm not suited for like a 9 to 5. It was very hard for me. I have ADHD, so it was just like when you said it's easier for you to work when it's for your passion, that is exactly how I feel. For me, it's sometimes like kind of back and forth. You know, I get hyper fixated on things. And I'd started doing content creation full time in, I think it was August of last year. It definitely has been a pay cut, but you know, it's okay. And it's something that is so amazing because it's awesome to just do what you love to do all day. So
I feel like you also have more freedom to, let's say, take a break or anything. It's not like when you're working on a 9 to 5, it's just not that easy. At least when you're creating content, then you can just take a few days for yourself and then recharge and then get back into it and feeling all inspired. So that's what's really nice as well.
Those recharge days are so important for me because burnout is such a big problem for me. And being able to just kind of step back, I feel like the creative juices start flowing when I call them like sabbatical days, because it's like a day when I literally just don't do any content. And when I'm doing that, like ideas will start flowing into my brain for content when I'm not just like staring at my computer and making TikToks or whatever, you know? And it's so good. It's so good for me. I'm curious about your history with games. When did you start playing games? And then when did you decide to kind of focus on cozy games for your content?
Cozy games. For the longest time, I've always gamed, but it wasn't entirely cozy. The games that I've played before when I was growing up, I actually was playing a lot of horror games when I was a wee little girl, when I was around 8 years old. I was a fan of Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Project Zero, titles you might not know, but probably heard of.
Yeah, I played some of those before. Yeah, when I was growing up too.
Yeah, and in the Philippines, we have a very close-knit culture with our cousins, and I'm an only child, and so is the rest of my cousins. So we would all gather in one room and play Silent Hill, for example, backseat gaming. And then after that, I started playing The Sims. So that's where it really started, my love for simulation games. The Sims 1, I remember it was the first game that really got me playing till 1 a.m.
Oh yeah.
I was a child. I don't even know why my parents allowed that. And there was stuff in the game like woohoo, and they don't even know.
Oh my gosh. Did your parents ever walk in like while your Sims were woohooing?
No, not ever. But they didn't know. I didn't know as well that there was woohoo in the game. I'm like, what is this? That's when I learned, like, oh, and then you get to kiss and then you make babies. And I really enjoyed it. And yeah, Sims has been a huge part of my life ever since. And then all the way to my teens, I started loving other genres as well. Kingdom Hearts and Fallout 3, also Skyrim. I really love exploration games and also games where I can just do anything and go on quests and all that. I did get to a point where I stopped gaming, and that's when I came here to the Netherlands. So I didn't game here at first because I had to focus on my studies. This is my second bachelor's, and I already finished, but I got into gaming when I was scrolling on Instagram, and on my explore page, I saw a bunch of cute Nintendo Switch flat lays, and it just went downhill from there. And then I discovered the cozy gaming community, and I was like, you know what? I play Stardew as well. I'm gonna get my own Switch so I can be all cozy. I want to be in bed. Although I played it already on PlayStation, but that was after I graduated. I got back into games. But yeah, I don't entirely always play cozy games. I love other genres as well. But let's say for the past 2 years, I just played more cozy games just because how, at least for my mental state, it was more relaxing for me. I did used to enjoy also hardcore games before, but I don't know why suddenly mentally I couldn't handle it anymore. But I still enjoyed other stuff. And yeah, I guess 3 years ago in 2021, I started creating content around cozy games just for fun because I was already playing Stardew and Animal Crossing. But what I did notice on the content creation space for cozy games, people only or mostly talked about Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. And that's when I decided, like, wait, but there are smaller indie games, especially on Switch, and I play them, so I want to talk about them. And that's when I started talking about indie games and smaller games that are not too popular. And then yeah, that's basically how I started as a cozy gaming content creator, but I never took it seriously. At that time, I also did it on the side because I really wanted to get into the gaming industry as well. So I wanted to apply at least doing social media on my own before I find anything particularly social media in the gaming industry.
When you started creating content, did you start on Instagram or
On
you did
Instagram.
Instagram first, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I mainly did flat lays. It was very popular at that time. Like,
Yeah, there was a period in like it was like 2021 that it was like it was flat lays everywhere.
flat lays and just Nintendo Switch with a screenshot of your game. It was all super cute. And then Instagram had reels, had reels. Yeah, that's when it started, where people were so confused. Like, what should we do? Do we start making videos and all of that? And I think at least what I was missing, that I also realized as I was again scrolling, looking at flat lays, is that okay, I'm consuming and like having so much time on social media, about what's in it for me. Like, I'm missing the value part, and that's where I started to create reels and do list type of content with games. And it really worked at that time. And I would say that's one of the reasons why I grew so fast as well on Instagram. That really worked, because the reels back then was just really being pushed out by Instagram. Then a year later, I moved over to Instagram, reposting my reels on TikTok. Sorry, moved over to TikTok and then reposted.
Yeah.
And yeah. Also, before I never always also showed myself. I don't like showing myself on socials. It's really hard for me. I'm way too, I need confidence building or something, but it's always hard for me to show up on socials, and that's what I've been practicing. So,
Yeah, I've noticed lately, like on your content, a lot more of your content is now you and like you like, talking with your mic, and it looks
with my
looks
little
great.
mic.
You look amazing. Yeah, no, I think I have the same little mic as you. But no, it looks great. Like it's awesome. It's amazing. You know, like
Yeah. It takes a lot mentally to make these videos, but of course I need to practice, because it's not what I'm always used to. For I think 2 years even, I rarely showed my face. I think that's also one of the struggles of being a creator, to really put yourself out there, to connect more with your community, let's say. That's basically my story, getting into cozy games.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned that you at a certain point it was like harder to play more serious games, and I think that's so interesting, because I think that happened to a lot of people around, especially like around the pandemic, like around when the pandemic started. Everything happening in the world is so anxiety inducing and stressful and awful, and there's tragic things happening, and I think so many of us like you went to cozy games as sort of a relief for that.
It was a hard time before as well, having to I'm at least in my circle, a lot of people getting sick, and I think people just needed a distraction. But also getting into the cozy gaming community, at least for me, I never thought that a wholesome community would exist. As a gamer, I would always think of toxic gamer boy community, and I played these types of games before, but I never really resonated with a nice community that is welcoming and all of that. And it's just nice. It's refreshing, especially if you're an adult. When you're an adult and you're a gamer, it's just different, because you have all the money now you can spend to play your games. But even more so that you've found like other people as well, especially that are around your age, that are in the same community, in the same space, that are just want to have a good time, relax, and play these relaxing games and very comforting games. That's one of the things that's really nice about the cozy gaming community.
So I wanted to kind of switch gears and talk about TikTok specifically a little bit. So I know you got your start on Instagram and then moved into TikTok. Kind of just want to talk TikTok, because you have a large platform on TikTok. Your TikTok content just pops off. It's so amazing. And
So do you. Well, it's not only me.
well, okay. So we both have a modicum of success on TikTok. And so I feel like we could have a really interesting conversation about TikTok, and particularly, I feel like TikTok and Instagram both, but my knowledge base lies more in TikTok. Although I would be interested in hearing from you about Instagram as well. But because I feel like, is it right that it kind of started first on Instagram and then moved into TikTok? Do you feel that way, or was it happening like simultaneously? Like the you know how we had this big explosion of cozy gaming accounts and community and stuff like that.
Yeah, so when I first started my account on Instagram, at that time, TikTok felt like a dancing platform. I could never back then I could never post here. What can I post making videos? Because first of all, I didn't talk, I didn't want to show my face or something. I was just good at taking pictures, making flat lays, talk about games and all of that. And then it just kind of shifted because of me trying out new things with a list type of videos. And I didn't really have, let's say, a goal on TikTok. I just wanted to come on there and also be one of the cozy gaming content creators to give value to those who are looking for cozy games at least. And somehow I did find the right people, and my account started gaining traction, and it's just it then turned into like a combo, let's say, where whatever I would post on Instagram, if they're not photos, I would post on TikTok. But also TikTok also gives you it kind of encourages you to be more personal there. For example, with the video replies, I don't always show that. It's very curated on Instagram is what I'm trying to say. At least on TikTok you can be more yourself, and
Yeah.
with the algorithm, people are still gonna find you interesting, let's say, because of their current interests. It's just matching.
So Instagram and TikTok have been definitely instrumental in, you know, bringing like growing the cozy game community. Can you speak to like what you've seen in terms of how Instagram and TikTok have created the community, impacted this community of cozy gamers?
So you know how on TikTok it's easier for people to be not creators, but just talk about naturally talk about stuff or topics they want, and then they would go viral, for example, just because of how authentic the platform is. And I think that's what's really nice with TikTok. Anyone can just talk about cozy games, and these people can just be, for example, exposed to content creators like us, for example. And that's how cozy gaming, I think, for me, grew on TikTok, on the platform. A lot of people started talking about cozy games. And I think also what really helps, let's say, reaching more people and building a community on TikTok is when you go live. That really, I'd like to mention that because last year it was insane when TikTok just introduced their live features. I'm not sure if it was last year, but it was last year that I started streaming. It was insane. It brought in so many people in my streams. Now the people that have went on my streams are now really a huge part of my community. And I think it's just really nice because again, with TikTok, it has the power or the ability with its algorithm to find people who would be really interested in cozy gaming. Whereas on Instagram, let me think, because I have a love-hate relationship with Instagram.
Same, which is why I don't even do it anymore.
Initially, in the beginning, before Instagram was I saw the cozy gaming community on Instagram really strong, and it was also very niche. So it growing right now. I see a lot of smaller creators as well making content about not only cozy games but also adding, let's say, desk setups, and it just merges and reaches more people. But yeah, I think if I were to pick between Instagram and TikTok, let's say, when it comes to reaching the right people, I would definitely pick TikTok over. But Instagram did really help me in the beginning to really push out my content. But I don't know, right now with Instagram, it's just so bad. I don't wanna get into it, but I did find people on Instagram like also into cozy gaming, but right now it's not, I don't know. Yeah, I'm frustrated with Instagram.
No, trust me, I get it. So you mentioned, especially with your lives, but in general, do you think that TikTok has been a really good place for you to find community, and you feel like you have a strong community on TikTok?
On TikTok, and that's also one of the reasons why I decided to go live, because besides gaining the following, I do tend to see, for example, a lot of people engage with my content and it's the same people over and over again. And I also decided at that time that it's time to be personal, and TikTok, the platform itself, is it's pushing content that is authentic, where people are just talking about stuff, and it's really about your personality on the app. And I would say it's very good for community building, because at least for me, this is what I mentioned with TikTok Live. If you're not going live on TikTok, other than having to share a story, let's say that you're live on Twitch, there is no way really for you to really connect with them other than making videos, of course. But if you want like intimate interaction, having them to, let's say, talk with you and be more personal with you through your lives, I think that really helps. So that's what I really want to encourage other cozy gaming content creators as well to, it doesn't matter, go show your personality on your live and talk to your community, because it's so easy to grow on TikTok, but then what other ways are you being more personal with them? It's so easy to go viral on TikTok, but then you have the numbers and the following, but then if these people don't connect with you, then you don't really have a big community. Right now I have, I won't say like it's super big, but I have a community, but most of them really came from TikTok, and they're my OG people. And it's really nice to see them be part of my little community on Discord. We get to chat, we get to hang out, watch movies, and play games. And it's really nice. I've met the best people on TikTok. On Instagram, maybe because I don't really share when I go live or something. But I have people coming in from Instagram. But it's a different type of community that I have there, because it's the people that engage with my posts that I recognize that, okay, that, you get to engage with these comments or talk to these people every day, but it's not as personal as what I do on TikTok, if that makes sense.
Yeah. We've talked a little bit about kind of what content is working and not working on TikTok. You mentioned that you're trying to show your face more and like try to connect more kind of one-on-one with your community. Where do you see the future of the platform going, specifically in regards to cozy gaming? I see it becoming more and more saturated, so it's getting harder to stand out in your content, which is, again, part of the reason why of, showing your face and your personality more. What kind of changes in content, cozy gaming specifically, and then just TikTok in general, are you starting to notice on TikTok?
Before I started changing stuff, I did notice that there is a certain format that cozy gamers like to do, and I do it myself. It's basically showing a monitor and talk about games. And TikTok is constantly pushing these new features, such as the landscape form. I think it's really trying to be more like YouTube.
Yeah.
And with these features, or the carousels, for example, although it has been out for last year, it was trying to be Instagram. But for example, these small features that TikTok keeps pushing, I think with regards to us making content, it's just pushing us to change our content as well to adapt these features. For example, with the carousels, what can you do with the carousels? Savable posts or lists or something. Or you have the landscape videos. What can you do with landscape videos? Vlogs or behind the scenes. And when it comes to creating content that surrounds cozy games, I think people are going to be more personal when they talk about games. And it's not just always about like just talking about games, but also you as a creator showing your personality when sharing games, but also your interests to match the content. When it comes to cozy games, it might be true that, it can get saturated. I see a lot of people, getting into cozy gaming, especially now that I've seen slowly a shift, even for myself. Cozy games, okay, let me talk about this. Cozy games before, when I entered the community, I always thought about it as casual, relaxing games. But other big creators also say that the genre was never defined. So cozy games can be, any cozy, like games that make you feel cozy. So I feel like there's going to be a shift in cozy games in general. It's not just always going to be about at least what I believed in the beginning, where it's just casual, relaxing, non-stressful. people are going to be talking about other probably bigger titles as well and talk about them as cozy or something. So,
Yeah, like Baldur's Gate 3.
oh my God, yeah.
It's that game is amazing, but that game is cozy to me. I'm sorry, like it is. You're telling me I can smooch
Same.
hotties in camp,
Same.
and like
Spicy cozy.
yeah, spicy cozy. That's the new genre. We've just defined it. Spicy
Yeah.
cozy. I'm with you. I see a lot of quote unquote discourse about what is actually cozy. I think we've been like on the same Twitter posts sometimes, like with responding to people. Yeah, it's interesting because, like you said, it's not defined. It's really just what people see, and to some people, cozy games is a specific, I don't know, like criteria that needs to be met, and it's like it needs to have no combat, no stress. I literally saw a post the other day where someone said Stardew Valley is not a cozy game. It's not because a cozy game. They said
because it's stressful.
Because it's stressful and because it has combat. I was like, okay, I mean, sure, maybe that's not cozy to you. That's fine. Like that's absolutely, you're 100% valid for feeling like that's not cozy to you. But to just be like, by definition, Stardew Valley is not a cozy game. I was like, okay.
Yeah, by definition. Honestly, when I first entered the cozy gaming, I did my research entered the cozy gaming community. I did my research. There were a couple of articles that I came across about what cozy games are. And it's common themes such as relaxing, no combat, not stressful. And yeah, with regards to the couple of Twitter posts that we were that we came across before, I know what you mean. But I feel like it's the genre is not defined, but as creators, I think we do have some type of responsibility not to mislead gamers. Sorry, not to mislead gamers.
Yes.
Because, for example, Elden Ring, a lot of people say it's cozy, and as a content creator, do you really promote it as a cozy game? Because it can be very stressful as well. So it's just, I don't know, because that's what I feel like. I have a responsibility not to always market games that feel cozy to me as cozy games.
Yes.
Just because I feel like I still have to adhere to a certain baseline where cozy games should be relaxing, not stressful, and all of that. But at least for me, I do have my unconventional cozy games like Baldur's Gate, Skyrim, Fallout. So yeah, there is a gray line, I feel like. And the conversations, or I think it's starting to shift now, like the mindset of people of what cozy games are, but not what it should be. It's just, it's a very personal concept, and it's different for everyone. So
yeah, and I agree that I think when people are coming to content creators to look for what cozy games are coming out in 2024, or I want a cozy game that is going to help me relax or whatever. When people are seeking out that type of content, if they're seeking out cozy game content specifically, then they are probably looking for somewhere along that baseline of relaxing, not stressful, etc. And yeah, I think we do have a certain responsibility to, if I'm like, for me, it's Red Dead Redemption. That's the one that I always talk about as like, it's a horse game. It's a horse girl game, And I think the first couple times I did that, I didn't this was kind of like a learning moment for me, but I was just like, yeah, Red Dead horse game, and a lot of people were like, hey, this game is actually really violent, could have some disturbing content. And at first I was like, well, yeah, but it's cozy to me. But then I was like, you know what? At the same time, if someone is coming and looking for horse games and I'm recommending Red Dead Redemption, I feel like it should come with some sort of at least disclaimer, which is what I try to do now. Whenever I talk about games, if I'm including something that's not traditionally cozy, I try to put some sort of disclaimer like, oh, hey, this isn't technically a cozy game, but I think it's cozy because X, Y, and Z. And then people can kind of make that decision for themselves on whether that's something that if that's something that they are interested in. So yeah, it's interesting. The gray area. And I'm wondering, I feel like it can kind of go in either way, where it's either the gray area is going to widen and it is going to be cozy doesn't really mean anything. It just is subjective. Or I feel like it could go in the other way of becoming very a defined genre. So do you see it becoming something that it becomes very defined, or do you see it becoming something that's more just broad and we just kind of embrace that gray area?
I think it's becoming more broad, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't find it pushing towards a strict definition of what cozy games should be. Even with big creators like you or Kennedy have already also said so in the past, that it's the genre is never defined, and it's just games that make you feel cozy.
Yeah.
And at least even for me, I resonate with that more than the traditional definition of cozy games before. But even when I when I started creating content, I did use that as a baseline. But for me, I feel like what resonates with me now, what cozy games are, well, it can be anything cozy to you, but I'm still careful on, not always putting out there like very, very dark games, which I find cozy as cozy games. Even, for example, with Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer is a game about dying, and it's just a very sad theme, and it can trigger anyone, especially with some parts of the game about having a certain sickness, for example. So yeah, it's just I just feel like what's best for gamers, at least, is that people should practice. If I say it's cozy, don't believe it just yet. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like,
just,
do some research on your own to see if it's something that's cozy to you.
I see this. Oh yeah, I see this a lot also with people's take on Cult of the Lamb, for example.
Oh, that
was
there was like drama on TikTok about that a little bit. Yeah. About Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah, but it's about expectations, and these people getting exposed to probably content creators who say that Cult of the Lamb is cozy. But also, as for yourself, you should do your research as well, because when you look up Cult of the Lamb, it says so on the first sentence that it's a roguelite game. So it's not just all about managing. Expect some combat, expect some sort of difficulty, because it's a roguelite. There's going to be combat. It's not going to be cozy. So I just wish that people were more would research more before taking all of these into, if I say it's a cozy game, then it's gonna be cozy for you. No, just look it up first and decide
at least
for yourself.
read the Steam page. It's interesting. It's kind of like this. I think I made a TikTok video about this once, but it's like, where's the onus? Like, whose responsibility is it? Is it the creator's responsibility, or is it the consumers, or the viewers' responsibility, or the developers? It's like, I think it's kind of everybody, like, I think as content creators, we should be doing our due diligence to try to present as much information as we can, but at the same time, it's limited. I mean, TikTok videos are longer now, but there was a time where they were 60 seconds, and it's like, that's all you had. Now I can be a little bit more detailed about stuff, because I usually go over a minute now. Well, most of the time. Yeah, it's like, I feel like I do have some responsibility, but at the end of the day, like, if you're buying a game and you're playing the game, like, that's really, you're the one that bought the game and who played the game. So I don't know. It's everyone has a little bit of a shared responsibility in this very interesting, like, content creator ecosystem,
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a little bit and let's touch on mental health, because I think it's a very interesting combination, because I feel like cozy games are games that a lot of people turn to for reducing stress or reducing anxiety. And then, so, we play cozy games, and so we have that going. But then also, as a creator, mental health is something that can be kind of like tricky to navigate at times. So I guess my first question is, how has being a content creator impacted your mental health?
Yeah, so it has both impacted, it has impacted both positively and negatively. Positively in a way that when I said, like, I can't do a 9-to-5 job because I need to have a creative outlet. And that, in combination with playing cozy games, that has been such a It has helped me in so many ways for my mental health, and I can just pop in. I can just play a game and then just be on my bed and just cancel out the noise and escape, and that's what I really love about it. But when it comes to the negative impact of content creation in the cozy gaming space, I feel like I do have imposter syndrome. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I always critique myself and compare my content to others. But
I understand. Yeah, I understand that for sure.
yeah, I just don't feel like I'm good enough of a cozy content creator. But I also, what I see now, it's that I've seen hustle culture coming back when it comes to creating content. I feel like I just can't live up to the pressure creating a certain type of content to be able to, let's say, grow on socials and all of that. And especially, for example, on Instagram, I see everything is so curated, perfect and aesthetic, and I just can't sometimes keep up with that. And yeah, it has two sides, basically, creating content, especially in the cozy gaming space. And I also feel like, well, recently, with just the mindset of not all developers, but some developers, where people don't really see your value in creating content, with the issue with no more robots and that's not wrong. Let's not talk about
the like paying YouTube creators is icky, that whole thing on Twitter.
Yeah, it makes you think, are the developers' mindsets just shifting into, content creators are not so important anymore when it comes to marketing. Some really rely on just one viral video to get a ton of wish lists, and what will that mean for me in the future? Is this going to be sustainable for me to where I can live off of it? So stuff like that really worries me a lot as a content creator. So yeah, you also mentioned earlier about burnt out. Oh, I've had that. I don't know how to deal with it, to be honest. I just take a few days off, and I don't even engage on my socials. I had a break at the beginning of the year because it was all just too much, setting expectations for yourself at the beginning of the year, and I can't. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just lie down and not even think about games, not even think about creating content. I just need a break. But yeah, it has helped me, of course, in so many ways as well. But yeah, it's like it's not a 50-50, but it has to each their own side, I guess, if that's the right way of saying it.
I feel exactly the same way. It's been good and bad in different ways. Burnout, man. I wish I had tips for my tips for burnout is the same as you. I just shut down. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna engage for 3-4 days, and I'm out. And it's hard sometimes because I don't know if you've experienced this, but I say this is hard knowing fully that this is a very like my job. I'm very blessed to have my job. Being a content creator full time is a dream, especially for games. However, I do find sometimes that it's hard when gaming is your hobby and then it's also the way that you make money. Because if I'm burnt out, typically my response is just like, I want to play games just to kind of zone out and relax. And I still do to a certain extent, but at the same time, sometimes I'm just like, I don't even want to look at a video game. I don't even want to,
I don't read, watch my shows. Yeah.
And it's interesting. So I've been actively lately trying to make sure I'm keeping up with my hobbies that are not games, because even playing games for me, like just for fun, I feel like sometimes can still exacerbates my burnout a little bit, because always in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I could be doing content about this, or I could be doing this, or I could be doing that.
It all comes down to balance, not just hobbies that just not involves gaming, but also that prioritizes self-care. So like just walking outside regularly, or going to the gym, or fitness, or yoga, or Pilates, whatever. And then I think it's just, at least for me, it helps me in a way, these things, but also just reading, engaging myself in my other interests really helps me to get the creative juices flowing. It lets me get back on track. So yeah, but it's not always as content creators, I hope people won't think that we always game. You know, it's just
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's a hobby. So there we are also interested in other hobbies, and it's not we don't always game, let's say, and gaming
Yeah.
isn't always fun also.
Right. No, I know. I want to know, do you have any particular games that you really like to play for stress management or anxiety? Are there any games that you love that are good for your mental health?
I sound so very basic for saying this, but I always revert back to Stardew Valley and also Sky Children of the Light. Those two games I just pop in whenever I can. Those are my two regular games that I just play anytime. I guess with Stardew, I know you have to do a lot of planning, you have to do a lot of tasks, but that's when I want to play a game where I can just cancel out and focus on one thing.
Yes.
And the Sky, on the other hand, is something where it's a no-brainer game where you can just, I'm not even thinking of anything. I just know where to go. I just know how to do my dailies. I just know where to get stuff in Sky. And those are the two main things that I really play for my mental health. I also pop in sometimes on smaller puzzle games, for example. A little to the left.
Oh,
Just
I love that one.
if I just want to relax. So those are the games, just really low stress. Well, Stardew Valley is not really low stress, but
I think it kind of, I'm with you though, with Stardew and games like that. Having those tasks to focus on, and then you feel like you're accomplishing something. You're just checking things off of a list, you know? I find that very relaxing. I definitely understand how it could be overwhelming, but I don't know. I'm with you. I find that relaxing, but it's like in a different way. Sometimes I want that, and sometimes I want, like you said, the more mindless stuff where you can just get on and do it, or the little puzzle games.
I
It's
also
cute.
love Power Wash Simulator.
Oh my gosh.
That's also one of the games that where you just wanna, again, mindless.
Yes.
I have it on VR, and I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm like, okay, let's go.
I need to get it on VR. That sounds so fun. I like those kind of games
amazing.
because I can put on a show or a podcast or an audiobook and just listen while I play the game. That and House Flipper House Flipper 2.
Yes, I love that
so
one.
good. Yeah, love that.
Sims as well, but just building on Sims. I don't really play Sims anymore. I just don't know. I just like to build there.
Okay, last question. What games are you playing right now?
Oh my gosh, Stardew, because 1.6 is coming. I can't
Are you
stop.
playing? Did you start a new save right now, or are you gonna wait for 1.6?
I have so many new saves. I think so. The dev actually advised to start a new save.
Yeah.
But then I'm so hyped that I even started a new save for my stream. I don't even know if I'm gonna start another save when the
Nice.
update goes live. So I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad. I don't know how to plan this, but I'm just super excited, so hyped for it. Other than that, Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah.
I've been playing it for 3 months. I'm like, this is bad. I haven't touched any other game. I should play other games, but oh my gosh, Baldur's Gate has been a chokehold. No, seriously.
I'm doing my second playthrough right now, and I'm playing Dark Urge.
It's
It's
good
so,
Dark Urge or really Dark Urge?
I'm doing Redeemed Dark Urge.
Redeemed,
so
yeah.
she's Dark Urge, but she doesn't. She's trying to not. She's
To resist.
resisting. Yeah. And it's so good. It's like, I feel like when you play, obviously, you know, how you're the main character no matter what, but Dark Urge feels so connected to the larger plot in a way that the regular TAV doesn't. And it's very interesting. I'm loving it. It's really good. Like, if you want to play again, but you want it to be a very fresh, you know, different kind of playthrough, Dark Urge is definitely the way to go. And it's definitely darker, you know, it's more violent, but it does give you opportunities to resist and stuff like that. There are consequences for it, but at times, but yeah, it's been really good.
And who are you romancing?
Astarion in this one, but I'm a
Ascended
Gale.
Astarion.
No, I'm not gonna ascend Astarion. Yeah, I'm doing full redeemed, like full redeemed for everybody. But I'm romancing Astarion with my dirge, but I'm a Gale girly at heart.
Same.
I love him. Oh my god.
Gale is a freak. Oh, don't No, but that dude took you to the
Yes, the weave. Oh
Yeah,
my
the
god, I'm dead.
Everybody say Gale is so vanilla. Excuse me.
No,
He's a
if you think
freak.
Gale's vanilla, you have not played Gale. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
goodness.
no, I love him so much.
I'm also romancing Shadowheart.
Oh, I
And
love her.
yeah, and I'm also doing a different playthrough where I play as Shadowheart romancing Astarion. So it's like,
Oh, that's cool. I haven't played any of the origin characters yet. I want to play. I don't know. I kind of want to play Astarion just to like get in his head a little bit. Yeah.
that would be nice as well. This is my first Origins playthrough, so
Is it fun? Does it feel weird to play a set character or
it's weird because you don't hear Shadowheart that much anymore talking. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, but I do have, you know, her when she was struggling to tell you about struggling to tell the tab about her prism and all of that, and her being a Shar. It's up to you whether you want to tell when you want to tell the other characters as well. So it's anytime during the game.
That's
But
cool.
I'm excited for the spicy scenes, but I haven't gotten there yet. So
I
I'm
love they're
playing
so
that.
good. The spicy scenes are just like chef's kiss in this game.
I love how a lot of other cozy content creators are also getting into Baldur's Gate.
I've
you see
gotten a
it a
lot
lot?
of people like in my community, like my people who watch my stream and stuff. I've gotten a lot of people to play Baldur's Gate because I'm like, y'all, it's so good. Like it transcends genre. Like you don't have to if you've only played cozy games before in your life, like Baldur's Gate is a great game to try a non-traditionally cozy game because I feel like it has so much coziness in it with the romance and the, you know, all the stuff at camp and, you know, just befriending them. And then you can also put it on the, what is it called? The explorer mode,
Explorer
the
mode.
easier
Yeah,
mode. And
easiest
it's,
mode.
yeah, it's really not like overly challenging. I feel like maybe the learning curve might be a little bit much, but I don't think it's that bad personally, but yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one for people to try out a non-cozy game if they're interested. Okay, so to wrap up, is there anything you want to plug? Where can we find you all over the internet?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. I'm also starting a YouTube channel. It's all just GamerGirlGale. So yeah, come say hi.
Yay!
I just feel so weird like when I have to promote myself. I just
No, I know. I get you. It's chill or whatever. Just gamer girl Gale. Whatevs.
Yeah, whatever.
Thank you so much for being on the pod. This was so fun.
Thank you. I know. I'm so
much fun.
excited.
Yay!
Yeah.